All right, everybody, welcome to a session 0. We're not perfect if everything looks here, but I've got it mostly set up here. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're ready. This is the I'm going to call it the first of this Artifact Runner. Is the series of adventures I'm doing, and this campaign will be A Frosty Job. So if you're wondering about the title for this here, this will be session 0 where I discuss with both players and anybody watching out this here the basics of character creation, and a lot of other things. I did realize I didn't change the title on Twitch. So I'm going to do that quickly while we chat here. Oh, God. Of course.
Welcome to the game with the annoying. Did they keep the priority system for 6th edition?
I think they did.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never played 6.
I only have read through the 6th edition book. I did not like it.
I read through and played around with it a little bit, doing some test stuff, but I didn't dive into it too deeply. But yes, we're going to be doing Shadowrun 5th edition right now, now that I've got the title set up. So I'm going to do a little bit of world spinning, then a little bit of gameplay, and then we'll dive into some character creation. So, cool. So, those of you who might not know Shadowrun, a quick rundown of the Sixth World. Congratulations. We're going to do this the quick and dirty style just to give people an idea of what's going on for the session 0. So, the basic thing to start out with is, yes, it is a kind of alternate world of ours, and the big concept is magic returns. That's why it's called the Sixth World. We were the 5th world. There's the 6th world with magic back. It's the idea that magic, rather than it disappeared for any good reason, like, people stop believing in it, it comes and goes in cycles. So it's just, we were in the low cycle, we're in the top cycle, came back. Awesome. The other thing to know about is it's an alternate history than ours. Basically, around the 70s, 80s, a couple small changes occurred, and the big major things were the introduction of megacorps. 2 decisions that happened. One, a quick story for that one is there had been a Teamster strike around New York City. Food was scarce in the city. A lot of people were rioting. Basically, a medical waste van was attacked. Some people fought back and shot some of the rioters. Went to the Supreme Court. They decided, hey, corporations and people like you can defend yourselves now against this kind of things. First step towards megacorps, because they can have kind of their own militaries now. And then later on, some basically terrorist attack another facility, and they did some more stuff. So then they got
wasn't suspicious at all.
I mean,
No.
It was created by their own
I thought
actions.
The idea of the Supreme
Wasn't suspicious at all, because it's only suspicious because all of the terrorists died. All of them.
I know. It's really like, that's the public thing. Technically speaking, it's terrorists attacked in quotations.
And more of the story, megacorps were like, hey, can we please have more stuff? And the US was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
it's funny.
normal life with more magic.
It's 2025 through now, so
I was about to
magic.
say.
It's 2025 with more elves.
They
I was about to say,
had a lot more problems
I
that
would not
happened. First off, elves and dwarves started being born. Then we had we thought our plague was bad. No. They had a worse one. It actually killed off a quarter of the world's population. So
those are rookie numbers.
I know.
Yeah, it was like a disease, right?
Yeah, they had
still technically around, I think.
Yeah, there've been a couple versions.
At least it was as the 4th edition.
It pops up here and there and kills massive swaths of people. The usual. Let's see. There's a massive crash of the internet around this time in the Shadowrun world. Yeah, that's another big thing. Of course, again, magic coming back. The people that were blamed for the entire terrorist things, which technically weren't, which were unfortunately Native Americans, which were sent to these nice camps. They weren't nice. I'm being sarcastic.
Imagine
they learned
rounding
magic.
people up in camps in 2025.
Yeah.
No, where?
Anyway, they basically, in these camps, basically just were the first people to discover, hey, our beliefs actually cause things to happen. They found magic. And so, yeah, like with much of the world, countries broke apart, reformed. United States is now something completely different. It's a bunch of different countries. The main one we're going to be focusing out of, to start out with at least, is our group of intrepid runners are going to be based out of Seattle, which is technically the United and Canadian American United Canadian and American States. I keep saying it's UCAS,
Yes.
which is what's left of Canada and the United States merged together after everything broke apart. And
We're not going to talk about the various flags that exist on that godforsaken map.
There are a lot of them, and there's a lot of crazy stuff. Go see videos I've done on my channel about like the very many countries.
You know, you're in for a good setting when you look at California and the rising sun flag is on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got to learn
Man,
recently
imagine
that
states wanting to leave the Union in 2020. I'm gonna stop making that joke.
I know. I mean, you know, there's some countries are actually really nice. Weirdly enough, the Czech Republic is actually really nice to live in.
I forget, because I know Germany got, like, absolutely bodied. Are they fine now?
Sort of. We'll go for a
'Cause,
sort of.
like,
Sort of.
well, a dragon kind of burned the country down for 6 months.
Yeah.
No, naturally.
They are technically still united, but it's like the German allied states, because like it's kind of like what would have been the Articles of Confederation. Was that the first thing for US? I'm thinking. I'm misminding my.
That would have been, that was the first draft. attempt,
Which was
yeah.
basically the states were kind of their own things, but also sort of united. You know, it was a lot more very like heavy.
If only there was some kind of historical German thing you could link that to.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, they did that
some
with
kind of Holy Roman Empire.
yeah. So that basically is what become of Germany. Similarly, the same thing happened to Italy. France is pretty good. Spain's pretty good, but they're really not nice to non-humans. We'll just leave it at that. And magic users. And look, you know, don't go to Spain. Anyway,
If you look at the Shadowrun map, the Balkans are just red.
yeah, they're they got some problems. Also, like, it's taken like Japan like a good like 70 years to get like in a decent place, because they've been very World War II Japan for like 70 years, and now they're finally like, maybe we shouldn't do that, you know, after 70 years.
It's a weird world.
Yeah, a lot of shit's happened. You know, but Elves Dwarves came back. Then there was an entire time where just a whole bunch of people transformed into orcs and trolls randomly. That was a thing that happened. Let's see here. We now have pixies, Sasquatch, free spirits.
Just like wasn't it like just elves and stuff first? Like
Elves and dwarves were
elves and
being
dwarves
born.
So
later,
elves and
orcs.
dwarfs, I believe, had already technically existed.
Yes, they had kind of showed up. Technically, there's also elves that have lived through the entire thing, but that's not something
Yeah.
we're going to talk about in this entire thing. Though I'm not going to lie, with stuff that's going on, it could become relevant. So I'll just say immortal elves exist. You wouldn't know about them, but they do exist. It's one of the many things might be linked to something related to them in this adventure. Will it come up? I don't know. It depends on you guys. Again, it's one of those things, because you have a job to do, you can choose multiple paths. You know, it's up to you to determine how you go about your job. So that's kind of some of the rundown of it. There was also a couple other things, like Halley's Comet came back and caused a lot of chaos. There was a second Matrix crash. You know, insect spirits are a problem. There's some other things that are problems. The world still kind of sucks. There's a lot of megacorps now that, you know, have a lot of control over various countries or influence over it. And we're turned into where our characters are, our runners. Basically, they live between the law. They're technically breaking the law, but they're breaking the law between basically various entities, meaning corporations, since they're countries onto themselves, or maybe various governments. Basically, anytime someone wants to do something that they can't do outright, if a mega corporation wants to fight another mega corporation, they don't declare war on each other. No. They hire runners to do shit on them for them. Same with a country. You could get hired on by a government. That's a little rarer, because usually they have their own secretive people, but sometimes they need a runner to do something for them. They're the people that kind of just are in there doing their little things, and that's our characters. Hired on to do jobs which are definitely not legal, but as long as they're not caught, it's fine. Yep. Yeah, I guess that's a good rundown basics of the world itself. And yes, they have the Matrix. I think it was called the Matrix before the Matrix movie.
Yes,
I think it references.
it was. Yeah,
Johnny.
it's more referential to, I think, something else.
Wasn't Johnny
Probably
Mnemonic
just
or the book based on that? Not Johnny Mnemonic was based on, or something like that. That the original
or it could just be based off math, Matrix math.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's.
It's like an extra. It's
one of the
dimensional
reasons.
math, which is why I think it's multidimensional math is Matrix math, which is why I think it's called the Matrix.
Ah. Huh. I didn't even
Yeah,
think about that.
there's a lot of misconception that it's named after the film series, but this came out first.
If anything, it would have named after that. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason. Also, it's very. You have to learn it for a computer science degree.
Mhm.
You do.
Linear algebra.
So yes. Yeah, I would just
I
say
hate
if you ever
algebra.
want to like look into just there are Shadowrun world maps if you want to check them out and kind of stuff like that. But yeah, so in the daily life, runners are kind of
If you
also
if you want weird deep dives, check out his channel for more random
Yeah.
deep dives into random countries.
I do that a lot.
Be prepared for some wacky nonsense.
There are a
And
lot
some
of interesting touches.
semi-racist things.
Oh, you can drop the semi part. If you're talking about anything first edition, it's pretty rough.
First edition is this weird point in time where they're like, they didn't want to be racist, but they just were. It's just you're just like, you were trying to be respectful. You just
The pains
you
of
just didn't
being
know.
media from the 80s.
you just didn't know. It's just like, wow. Anything related to Native Americans from first edition. I'm sorry. Anybody that's a Native American.
Hello.
Yes. So, as runners, if we kind of turn into what life is like in this, I'm going to be playing this as 2080. So, though we're doing 5th edition, I'm using the 6th edition timeline because that's the most up-to-date timeline. So the most information is about that. It's not going to matter huge what year we are, though, technically, because they're all around the same year. From 2070 to 2080 was 4th edition to 6th edition. So, not too much. But basically, yeah, you have fixers who basically help set you up with various people, and Mr. Johnsons, which are your contact with whoever's hiring you. Basically, the person that represents a specific group. Could be corporate interest, could be gang interest, could be a mafia interest, could be any kind of interest. But you're Mr. Johnson that the fixer set you up with. Then you meet with them, you make a plan, you do some research, you do the job, you wrap it up, you get paid. There are all kinds of jobs, from stealing data, materials, breaking things, basically kidnapping people from one company to another. That is an actual thing. Delivering certain things. Hey,
A lot of corporate espionage.
corporate espionage is the big thing there too. Protection detail is also a thing. Also, sometimes doing things like Robin Hood based stuff. Basically creating some misdirection, and technically speaking, we'll mention it, though I'm not going to be giving them any jobs of it, but wet work technically is a type of job, aka assassinate people. Most runners don't take that, though. So you have to deal with the corporations, which, what are you going to say, something, Wyrm?
Oh, I was about to say, actually, one of my character concepts that I might go with is an assassin.
I mean, again, it's most runners don't take it. It doesn't mean you don't take other jobs. It's just you wouldn't be against doing jobs like that,
Yep.
So there are basically 10 big mega corporations that exist in the world. I'm not going to go through them today because it's not the job of it. There's organized crime. There's smaller corporations, gangs if you're in the local cities, various government officials, which could be represented sometimes by a corporation. Places like Seattle, they hire out their cops to private police organizations. So yeah, you got to deal with all this stuff, and stay away from the law. As a person that probably does not have an actual citizen ID, a SIN number, which is basically the representation of you as a citizen. You probably don't have that. Some of you might do. Some of you might have one that's fake.
I think you can take one as an ability.
You
Yeah,
can take
yeah,
one. It technically having a legal SIN is a flaw, I think.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So Yeah.
Because you have to broadcast it all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's why you get one that's fake.
Kind of, but yeah.
Money is used by cred sticks, and it's in the form of new yen, because Japan was all very imperial for a while, and bunch of the big mega corporations are from Japan. So I mean, like, you know. Anyway, the Matrix exists as your kind of combination VR AR of some virtual reality, ultra reality. You can do the classic sci-fi jack into the Matrix, or use some kind of, like, if you don't have the cybernetic implants, you can kind of put a headset on. You can also get like AR glasses or stuff on your eyes to basically see altered reality around you, which tends to be a lot of ads and information about various places.
There's also technomancers who can just interface with it for whatever reason.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that's complicated.
Yes. There are. So that's a lot of the basic concepts of the world. And we'll talk about all the different characters and character choices our players are going to make. Now, we want to explain the rules, basically. So those of you that are coming in, hey, we can talk about the rules a little bit. So we're rolling six-sided die. It's pools of six-sided die, too. So basically, traditionally, you would add two numbers on your sheet together. That would be the number of six-sided dice you roll. You want to get a hit, which comes on the 5 of a 5 or a 6. Cool. Pretty easy there. You would normally
If you're
have...
playing this in person, you measure your if you don't have a 20-gallon bucket of six-sided die, you probably don't have enough dice for Shadowrun.
I'm looking at mine and Joe's friend Blaze, or Blaze, who plays with Wyrm 2 and me on Friday, who has an actual giant tub of six-sided dice. Anyway, there's usually a threshold, a number to beat. That's how many hits you have to, 5 or 6s you have to get. 1's easy, 2's average, and anything up from there, up to 10 and above, are what you can have as a possible difficulty. Though if you're rolling 10 or above, it's like having a 30 on a D&D 5e check. You're not going to probably have that very often. It's very difficult.
Actually, I think it's you called it a there's nope, you're right. Never mind. I'm wrong.
Okay. I remembered it correctly. You can...
Yeah, you said threshold. For a second, I thought you said limit, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, no, threshold is the correct term.
You can buy hits. What this means is if we're like not in combat, we're not in a stressful situation. Technically, I think you can kind of do it in combat. You're in a point in time where something we're going to talk about in a second here, called a glitch, isn't really critical to the battle. For every 4 dice you can just have a hit. This does mean, like, if you have 8 dice and we're doing an average roll, you can just say, I made it. You know, you don't have to roll. This is a way that if it's trivial rolls, we don't got to roll. Though there is something called a glitch, and a critical glitch. A glitch is what happens was I roll a bunch of d6s and half of them are 1s. Then I get a glitch. If half of them are 1s and I don't succeed at my task, it's a critical glitch. Bad stuff happens. That's the easiest way of describing it. So yeah, there are limits in your test. What are limits? Limits are basically how many successes you can apply to a test. This is usually limited by your attributes, situational things like stuff in battle, your equipment. These things can limit the basic number of successes you can have. So that's an important thing to tell. The type of tests are basically a simple success test where you basically roll 2 things together, usually a skill and an attribute, and find out what you get. You can also do that as opposed against someone. There are extended ones. We'll get into those when we need to get them. And you can work together. I will tell you, there is teamwork, but it is a little weird and complex. Just to mention what teamwork would be, because it might come up in the group. Basically, one person's the leader and another person helps. The person that helps rolls the same test. For every success they have, they increase the limit of successes that the other person can have and the dice pool that they have. And then they roll with a new higher limit and extra dice. Yeah. Kind of weird. Kind of interesting. But yeah. Most players will probably be playing one of the 5 main meta types: humans, dwarves, elves, orcs, and trolls. We'll find out if anybody tries to go for anything crazy.
Both my options are crazy.
I assume for you.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm a little off the beaten path too.
I'm an elf.
I'm original.
I'm a sub dwarf.
Yeah, you're
One of
you're one of the
I'm a-
special
one of the
types.
ones I'm one of the ones I might pick is technically an orc. Technically.
Uh-huh. One of the books introduced like subgroups from various areas that have unique abilities for these biotypes. There's 5 physical attributes, 4 mental attributes, 4 physical attributes, 4 mental attributes, and some special ones, which we'll get into. The big ones I want to talk about are Essence, Edge, and then I guess Magic and Resonance. Magic's the magic skill if you're a magic user. Resonance is the thing if you're a technomancer, like we mentioned. Essence is how much soul you have. Everybody starts out at 6, with some exceptions that are usually non-humans or non-normal humanity metatypes. But it goes down as you acquire cyberware and bioware. Okay, Edge, it's kind of like an intangible luck that you'll probably use for various things. We'll discuss that in a minute.
Essence is also used for magic, right?
Yes, the lower your essence is, you also get a penalty to your magic and resonance. So you don't want to lose it unless you are willing to take that. It's kind of the time because most magic users, if they get any cyberware, will only get like 1 essence worth ever, and they'll have to take that hit to their magic. But usually that's for stuff they don't want to use spells or specialties for not taking it. So it's a rare reason for doing it. Yeah. We'll talk about skills, qualities, and all that kind of stuff in a bit. Okay. And you will start with context. Edge. I'll talk about Edge here for just a second because it will come up in the game. Edge is a luck-based system. So, good news, everybody. You will be regaining 1 Edge at the beginning of each session. That's something I'm just going to give you just so you're encouraged to do it. There are other things that can help you to regain Edge, including very good bits of role-playing, basically self-sacrificing heroic acts, achieving a special personal goal, just taking a critical glitch, taking the problems with that, and various other small things that can happen that can get your Edge back. For Edge, you can do things like push your limits, which gives you a bunch of different abilities. If you basically you can spend a point temporarily. There's permanent ones, but usually that's I don't die. The temporary ones, if you push your limit, that one will give you that you could roll your Edge as an entire thing on its own if you have no dice in your pool. You can still roll your Edge either way. You get the rule of 6, meaning if you roll a 6, you can re-roll that dice, which if you choose to use that Edge after you rolled, which you can, you would only re-roll the Edge dice with 6s. And your limit would be, there would be no limit on the roll then too. So all 3 of those things you get. You can use an Edge to re-roll a die, second chance. You can use the Edge to take the top spot in the initiative. You can use Edge to roll more dice on your initiative for single combat. So one of them would be, I want to act first this turn. The other one would be, I want to be fast this entire combat, you know. You can negate a glitch or critical glitch with an Edge. And of course...
I want to clarify that a little bit. So since the initiative will put you at the top of the initiative order, which does mean you go first. But the reason Blitz is good, which gives you the maximum number of initiative die, is because that means you can potentially take multiple actions in a round because of the way actions work in this system. Yeah.
And then Dead Man's Trigger is you can basically make an attack or an action as you're falling over to unconscious or die. And then you can permanently burn Edge to succeed really well at something or just not die. Those may come up too. We'll have to see. But that's a lot of the basics of gameplay here. All right. So let's create a character. Woo! We'll get into this here. Let me do that. And I did honestly forget another thing.
I wanted to propose something. If we do any kind of either astral or matrix stuff, I recommend we only focus on one, and we should decide if we do astral or matrix, just to make it easier on Tantus.
I'm not doing either, so.
Yeah, I will not have access to astral projecting, so.
Yeah, because you mentioned potentially doing a Decker, that's why.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do a Decker, just because
I
did a Decker for 2 years in a game long ago.
So I did put this in the handouts here just to show you guys. You can see it here too, but I wanted to show the chat here, so I put it here together. So this is the priority chart. So we're making the basics of character creation. We're going to discuss it now today for our session 0, and kind of get a little bit of introduction to kind of characters. So you have 5 priorities, A, B, C, D, and E, and you have 5 different character aspects. Your meta type, your attributes, your magic or resonance, your skills, and your resources. Effectively, when you choose A, you choose one of the 5 things to have your A. You choose one of those 5, a different one to be B, a different one of those to be C. So it's like you could have A meta type, B attributes, C magic resonance, D skills, E resources. You could go across at that, or mix and match how you'd want. You can have A resources. You can have, whatever you want. And they give you different numbers. Okay. So meta type's the first one, which you can see in for every meta type, there is a number in it. So you can see that in this chart, human shows up a couple of times. And I don't know if it's this.
Because you get a bonus for if you choose
Okay.
one.
So basically, yeah, the number to the right is bonus special attributes, which are magic resonance, and so basically humans get more no matter what, but also there's a base limit. So it's basically how much extra points you want versus how much you actually get.
For most, if you are going to be doing that, it'd be like having a higher edge for human. Pretty much. If you're unless you're being magic or resonance, there really isn't another reason to have special attributes because those are the 3, and you're having maybe 2. It's like if you go for for metatype A9, you have probably a pretty high edge, pretty high magic, honestly there, and you're most likely going to still be a magic user. But at most, if you're being a human and not being magical, C, because that would give you 5 and max out your edge. You start at 1. Technically, humans start at 2. I will mention that. That's what humans get. A bonus edge. You're welcome, humans. It's the only thing you get.
Humans
Gotta
are
make
lucky.
you gotta pick a reason. You gotta make a reason for someone to play a human in a world with fantasy characters.
I mean, 7 edge can be very good. I'm not going to lie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just the really lucky guy could be a great reason to be it. Also, racism and bigotry. There's a good reason not to be anything else. It's getting better in the Sixth World, but it's still not there in many places. Ooh. But yeah.
I'm just a monkey man. It's okay.
So, I guess we'll go the list for order I've got here, which is Wyrm, Jessie, Joe, Momo, and why don't we say what you've chosen for meta type and what priority would be if you have it already done or an idea of what you want to do. So Wyrm, we'll start with you.
Can I go last? Because I honestly was waiting for other people to decide which one I was going to do.
All right, we'll skip over you. Then Jessie, what were you thinking?
A human. Shocker, I know. Straight samurai.
Do you know what priority you wanted for human?
I'm looking for that in Chummer. Because once you choose it, I don't know how you can go back to see what you picked.
Yeah, it doesn't really show you once you choose it.
Did you know how many?
Do you know how much special do you have?
How much edge do you have?
How much edge? Is that under?
Also in the karma summary, it'll have special 0. I have 0 of 1 because I only got 1 special.
7 of 7.
Okay, so you have 7, so you would be B.
No,
because I think I put.
That'd be C. That'd be C because humans would have an edge of 7. Because they started 2 and 5 more points. You would probably chose C.
No, but you get it would be B because it's how many special points you have to spend.
But
humans just get 2 extra special points.
Humans start with 2.
But remember, all attributes start at a 1 when you're doing these numbers, except for edge for humans, which starts at a 2, and you can only purchase up to a 7.
But what I'm saying is, in Chummer, under the summary, if his says 7 of 7, which means he hasn't spent any of them, he got 7 special ones, and that would be from choosing B. The 2 would already be in there under edge. That's what he starts at.
I see.
I don't know if you need 7 then.
No, because it starts at 2 and then you get 5, so you're 7 of 7.
Get some extra special points there. Unless you want to take the things that you can have higher edge. You could do that.
Because I know I chose C for dwarf, and it gave me 1. I automatically get 1 edge, which is calculated it in.
Yeah.
And then I have special to spend 0 of. I would, if I didn't spend it already, I would have 1 of 1.
Okay.
So it's the number in parentheses is what's going to be there under the karma.
Well, what I'm saying is, human of B would not be very helpful if you're just being a street samurai. Is what I'm saying. Like, at most, you want a human of C. So I don't know.
So I don't know if that's what you chose, Jesse. It sounds like that is.
I think I put, if I'm not mistaken, Metatype C, Skills A, I think Attributes B, Magic or Resonance D, and then Resources E.
Okay.
I think.
Are you going to be using magic at all?
Maybe somewhat, not a
I was gonna
ton.
say,
I know that
if
much.
you weren't, then you might as well put magic at D and have more money.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
so basically,
my goal was to play a broke loser.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
With that, you could, because you wouldn't have money for like cyberware, you could probably be like a little bit of an adept, a little bit of like a, because again, we call these things adepts, street samurais, and stuff like that. There really isn't a class per se. You can kind of
I
mix
actually
and match.
hate their like their like 6 ideas are really bad
They're
because they have
concepts.
1 for spellcaster, even there are like 3 to 4 types of spellcasters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
true.
like a more like skilled kind of samurai kind of, but with like natural physical abilities, but also then like a little bit of adept powers wouldn't be bad. You're not going full adept, but that might not be a bad idea. Because honestly, I would kind of be like, oh, you can't be a technomancer at D anyway. You'd have to be an aspect
No,
magician or adept.
Yeah, I chose Adept.
That's probably cooler. Okay. All right. So we figured that out there. Joe, what did you go for?
I have I took a C for
Mhm.
dwarf
Mhm.
because
Fair.
I'm doing a sub-meta type. Forget what the hell it's actually called.
Isn't it not just called
Hanon,
Subdwarf?
Hanon, something like
No.
that.
Or like
it's-
Subterranean?
No, I'm a monkey man.
Oh,
Give me
I
1
see.
second. It is the Hanuman.
Hanuman.
Hanuman,
Right?
yeah.
Which,
Yeah, the Hanuman.
just to mention for these areas, Joe would either have to be from India, the Indian subcontinent, or descended from some people that came from there, basically.
My parents came from there.
So, he immigrated to Seattle, which is fine. Yeah. So, cool. Momo, Cat, what were you going for?
Well, I want to play an elf, but I'm not sure what priority of elf to be.
You said adept.
So I'm playing adept.
Your minimum is D
Okay.
for human or elf, right?
Like,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
are you gonna actually? Here's a good question: are you gonna be a gun adept or a melee adept?
Probably gun.
yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Then, you're gonna need a little bit more equipment.
Yeah. well, the thing is, if we're looking at this
melee
here,
adept is
easier.
no
But-
equipment cost.
But what I mean is, adept really maxes out at B anyway for magic resonance. So you could easily be like elf A and get a lot of bonuses.
That is what I was
yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. So nice thing about that is if you go elf A, you can actually go like adept D and still max it out. And still max out your magic because you max out your magic at 6.
Oh, you're not wrong.
So so if you go elf 8, and then you go adept, you get magic 2, then you can max that out to 6, and then still have 4
Well, that's
for
right.
edge.
Actually, yeah. Like, you could probably go elf C. I'm actually not gonna lie, because it gives you a magic 6 to begin with. Like if you went for adept B, and then 2, and then 1 rating for active skill. That would be like a,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, yeah. So the way that works is it basically gives you, again, I've been digging into this. So what the adept skill does is it basically gives you one skill. It basically allows you to tank skills by getting one at level 4 off the bat, effectively. It just limits it to active skills versus so you can't pick like knowledge or language skills. Effectively, so if you want a high, so you can put skills lower by picking a higher adept. It's kind of like a trade-off. You can get a little bit more out of it. It's effectively 4 points of skills.
Yeah.
You can think of it like that.
But you definitely could go for like LC then and have like 4 and edge.
So how do I input LC onto this sheet?
Ooh. Right.
So that's the fun thing on are you talking about on Roll20?
Yes.
No. Oh, Roll 20? Or...
I'm not using
Yeah.
Tumor.
Okay. Chummer.
Yeah, so you don't. You basically
Okay.
mark down elf, and then you note how many points you have to spend somewhere.
Okay, I will pull up Notepad.
That's why I'm using Chummer, because it does all the calculations.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want my computer exploding.
It only happened to one of us.
I can't replace this.
I mean, it happened to me. That's why I'm not using it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Um,
Like I said, I haven't had a single issue, and neither has Jessie.
So,
to be fair, I was digging around in it, and it probably like messed something up. But I could it probably was just an error, and I could probably re-download it. But at this point, I just don't feel like it's worth it.
okay. I'm notepadding now. So LC.
So, Wyrm, figure out what you want to do then.
Okay, so the character kind of wanted to prefer to play. What's annoying is, okay, Street Samurai for Jessie. I'm kind of curious. Were you gonna focus guns, melee? are you
Melee,
thinking?
purely.
Okay. So I mentioned that I kind of wanted to do a sniper thing, or I wanted to do guns, but I mostly wanted to focus sniper rifle. The other option was melee. So, oh gosh, what do I want to pick?
If it helps you choose, I'm likely picking some kind of pistol-esque weapon.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do my initial thought, which is going to be a shapeshifter falconing.
Okay.
Those are certainly words you've said.
So, to
was
summarize, when Haley's
I don't know.
comet
I don't think that.
So-
I don't think that's in this game.
It is because Haley's Comet did weird shit. Remember I mentioned that? Haley's Comet caused a bunch of people to become, technically also a bunch of animals, to become powers that were weird. So,
Effectively, it's an awakened falcon
yeah, you're a...
who can turn into a person.
So, yeah, Wyrm is going to be playing a falcon that, because of Haley's Comet, can become a person. That is an actual thing. It's really weird, but it's a real thing. There technically are dragon people too, and some other weird shit. I mentioned Sasquatches and pixies, which were normal things, and I quotations normal those. Those were regular.
I mean,
technically centaurs too.
My other option was going to be a changeling, which is technically any race who then, because of again Haley's Comet, has a bunch of like recessive genes of like past bestial ancestors starting to pop out.
You know, in the UCS, Sasquatch are getting pretty big numbers. I think one's been in government already.
Aren't they like? I remember they score like really good roles in movies.
Yes, because
I've heard
they
before.
basically can like make a lot of sounds, so they just act as like Foley artists in a lot of movies, or just like as actors that do a lot of noises and stuff like that too. Yeah, they're loved in movie making.
Then I'm going to be I'm gonna do the adept sniper assassin.
Okay.
idea.
Cool. All right. So we got everybody's that. So we're gonna kind of talk about attribute priority. So this is how many points you can spend on attributes. This is normal attributes, the 8 I mentioned, the 4 physical, 4 mental. You basically get the number and can split between the 2. That's the easiest way to describe it. You have a maximum dependent on your meta type. That's another chart I should have popped out to show the people. I can do that quickly. Basically, it's sort of like, for human, as a good example, you can have anything from you start at a 1 and you max out at 6 for everything for your attributes. That's the human way of things. For each other meta type, you would have different numbers. A good example would be like an elf starts. Elf, you start with 1 in your body, 2 in your agility, 1 in your reaction, 1 in your strength, 1 in your will, 1 in your logic, 1 in your and 3 in your charisma. So elves start with a little extra charisma, and they have the same maximum. You add 5 to it, and that works for all of them. That's how you figure out your maximum. It is similar to human. You go from 1 to 6, it's 5 higher. If you start with a greater base, yeah, like trolls start with 5 strength, and 5 body. Can have maximums 10s, but then it also gets into trolls have numbers which are less maximum, like they can only go up to a 4 in charisma, a 5 into 5 logic, 5 agility. Look, trolls are tanks. They sit there and smash things good. Troll. Anyway.
High body, high strength, low intelligence.
Technically, they can still have a 4 or higher. They can take stuff to be smart trolls, rare as it is. But yeah. So did everybody choose what kind of attributes they wanted to have? I guess we'll turn it back once again to. We'll start with Wyrm. We'll see how you're doing.
Yeah. So if I'm going with this character, then attributes 24 points.
Okay. You're going all in on the attributes. Cool. Okay. There's the attribute chart for people to see. Awesome. Jesse, what were you thinking of taking?
I fairly certain I also went attributes 24 points.
Okay. Joseph, turn towards you.
I went D. Or no, I'm sorry. I went D.
Okay.
You didn't take A on attributes. Kill him.
Look, he had other priorities. And Momo,
Different.
How about you? Did you have an idea what you want to take?
I was thinking like A could be cool, but I'm gonna be real. A lot of this is very foreign to me because this didn't exist in 4th edition.
So, as an adept, you can actually augment some of your ability scores with magic. Basically, if you think about it, adept can replace either kind of cyberware or and BioWare, or it can kind of boost attributes. Those are the 2 kind of ways you can kind of use adept powers. Although I think it's so
stat boosts or cool ninja powers. Basically, is what it is.
Yeah, so you can so basically, depending on how you want to go, you can either tank money or not tank, but you can lower money or lower attributes. Depending on how you want to do the adept.
We'll probably go. Probably go B, maybe. Yeah, I'll do attributes B.
Okay. All right. Then we go to our third thing that we have to figure out here. Cool, great. The magic of resonance. If you're taking magic or resonance. Hey, cool. So, Wyrm, are you being magical? What's your
Yeah, I'm gonna pick D for adept.
Okay. Don't you get some or something because you're a bird?
So, yeah. So here's the way it works. I have 1 magic no matter what, but if I pick a priority with it, it replaces it, so it's not added.
Cool. I just wanted to make sure of that. I couldn't remember.
Yep, I've been digging through the rules.
Look, it's also been a lot longer since it's been a while since I've checked some of this stuff. I've gone over it a couple of times here and there. That one in that book where the shape changers and changelings and stuff are even longer since I read through that one. That one was even longer. So Jesse, what were you taking?
He said BRB in chat.
Okay. Missed that. I assumed he was talking about taking D though. How about you, Joe? Any magic?
I am E.
I
don't plan on. I'm gonna be a ringer. I don't need magic.
Fair.
How about you, Momo? Then do you have
So if I take D, I still end up with a good magic score, right? If
You,
I'm understanding this correctly.
you could have a 4 or
So
5 in magic, and then like a 1 or 2 in edge. You could still
okay,
do
what did
stuff
you
to
take?
increase the edge.
Yeah, what did you take for your race again?
C.
Yeah, so you have 3 points, meaning if you take a B, so well, okay, if you took C and you're an elf, then you can get up to 5 magic if you take D, or you can get up to, or you can take B and put those 3 points into edge.
You'd have to move your attributes, but yeah. Up to you if you want to have a large edge or not.
You can also switch to B and get elf and have lower. So 6 is the max magic you can have without doing special stuff. Basically, you get a certain number of points. So for adepts, it's actually kind of simpler because you basically just get a number of points based off your magic score. It's pretty much all it does. It's basically just how many points you can spend on adept powers.
And
That's
powers
what I'm
have costs.
thinking. So I'm thinking D is fine because it gets me
Yeah.
pretty decently. So I'm gonna go with D.
Okay. As I said, you'll just have to make the choice if you want to go all in on magic or spend some on edge. You don't have to have a lot of edge at all. You know, you can have just one, honestly. You don't need edge. It's just you know, can be helpful. So and we'll still have other things
Jesse's
to
back.
spend points for stuff. Jesse, hi, welcome back. Did you had been saying you were going to be priority D for magic, or did you have thought of a different thing?
It was D magic spells, but right now my skills were 20 skills. I said that. Yeah, it was D for magic,
Okay,
and
cool.
I chose adept.
Right. Awesome. Then there is good old. Now, traditionally, character creation. We have to do something before skills. I know. Skills, it's next chart. But there is something we do have to kind of discuss a little bit here because it comes up and may have effects on skills. And that is, of course, qualities. Good old qualities, which there's a huge list of. Basically, how qualities work are you basically get, as part of your character creation costs, 25 extra karma. These are points that you can spend on stuff. Different parts of your character have different values. Some things might be more expensive, some things might be cheaper. Like getting an attribute point, going to spend more of your karma than getting a skill point. Anyway, you can also use these to get positive and negative qualities. Traditionally, if you buy positive qualities, it costs karma. If you get negative qualities, it gives you extra karma.
Yeah. There's a rule here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You can only have 25 points of negative or positive qualities, not combined individually. So you can only get 25 points and spend 25 points. If you have leftover karma after that, then so you have 25 points to spend, you can get back 25 and you can spend 25, meaning you might still have 25 left over if you use all of that.
You can
you can then spend on other things like attributes.
You can technically have 50 karma if you want to get a lot of negative qualities, but that kind of sucks, you know.
Well, yeah, if you do that, then you have to you still can only get up to 25 points of positive karma qualities.
Yeah.
Even if you get 25. If you get 25 of negative, they cancel out, but yeah, basically, yeah. Now for Joe, he has to spend some karma on his race, I think.
I was looking that up.
It does not count towards the quality maximum though. So you don't have to buy it out. It still counts, but if you can still get 25 of positive qualities. But you still, on top of that, payment.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been digging through all this. So yeah, Hanuman, because your karma cost is that's 5. So basically, you effectively start with 5 less karma to spend, but you can still do 25 positive and 25 negative totals.
That was something I had to look into because it was saying Metatype 5 Karma. I'm like,
Yeah, that's how that works. I start with 10 less karma.
Yeah. So again, it's just something to keep. Positive qualities, as I said, cost karma. They can give different little abilities or bonuses for various situations. Usually it's bonuses to dice pools, except little extra things you can get that can help out. Things like there's like an exceptional attribute, which you can use to get at 1 point to an attribute that it's even higher than the maximum the normal to. So it both raises it and raises your possible maximum. There's a bunch of these different ones that can be very helpful and have various costs. And similar speaking, the negative qualities can be things like having allergy and addiction, some just bad luck, things like that, that can come out and have an effect on your character. So they are a thing that will have an effect. They're a thing that is important. I don't know if we're going to go deep into all of them at this point in time for it.
That's what I'm getting.
Okay, so you have kind of an idea of what you want to do there. Cool. So you ended up spending 2 of your karma then, as I see, of your 25 plus what you would have to spend for being a shapeshifter, right?
Yeah. So basically, I effectively spend 13 of my karma.
Okay. Okay, cool. Hi, kitty kitty. Then
It's 2 plus 10. That doesn't add up.
So we'll kind of work on qualities, a thing for people to think about, here.
I have some of mine.
Oh, you have some of yours. Okay, cool.
Give me 1 second.
Computer illiterates are an interesting one to take, Wyrm. Oh, but that makes sense. You're a bird.
Computer illiterate, not illiterate.
I know.
I technically also have the uneducated perk by default for being a bird. Basically, it means I have trouble understanding, like, I basically just have not gone through an education. I've not been in school.
You have yet to gain your GED. That's something that's like a job to do. You're just like, well, I gotta learn some basics of human society.
Look, if I want to, I could buy it out later with experience.
Mm-hmm. You've taken your high school equivalency and learned, taken some nights classes online.
I get some automatic positive and negative stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get a functional tail, which is prehensile.
Ooh.
I got monkey paws and thematic vision, and then my negative on that is unusual hair because it's all over my body. But then the ones I actually took, I took a negative of uncouth. So don't expect me to be talking in social situations unless you want me to be flipping people off.
Oh, my other character is gonna have that one. If I,
And then I also took Gearhead, which gives me some bonuses. During vehicle or chase combat, a Gearhead can increase the speed of a vehicle or a drone by 20%, or increase the handling modifier by +1, player's choice. They also receive a +2 dice pool modifier when attempting difficult maneuvers or stunts in the vehicle. A bonus lasts for a d6 minutes.
Okay. Cool.
I took Grease Monkey. Kind of on the nose there.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything. You
I
made that
gain
choice.
+1 dice on any skill test using skills from the engineering skill group.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's all I've done so far.
Okay.
So I have 10 floating right now. I don't know if I'm going to spend anything that way. I did spend 1 or 10 to move my willpower from a 1 to a 2.
Ah. Well, we'll discuss those bonus points in a little bit anyway, too.
Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh.
just figured why we were in the karma section.
Mm-hmm. We, of course, then have skill priority and resource priority. We kind of combine those because, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. Once we know the skill, we know what the last one is at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Resource is the money you spend on stuff for beginning character. It's wildly different. All right, Wyrm, why don't we turn to you for skills and cash you have on hand?
So I'm gonna do skills C, resources E.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Being a broke bird makes sense. You are also a person, but I keep calling you a bird. I can't help it. You technically were originally
Birds aren't people.
True.
Depending on the country in the Sixth World, they say that. I think you could get away with being who you are in, like, as I said, the Czech Republic. They accept you. It's just
in Seattle, I think they want to capture me to do tests on me.
Yeah, you probably want to hide the fact that you're not human in Seattle. There are megacorps that be like, ooh, can we experiment on you and discover things? Excellent. For Jessie, how about you? What's your skill and resources?
Skill and resources. I pull up skills. I took mostly physical skills. I have.
Well, what points did you spend on me knowing it? What priority do you think you get?
Oh, priority. I put that at active skills 22. That means it was for. Oh. Huh. No, that means I put skills at D.
Huh.
Huh.
You can't have two things
What did
at
I?
D. That's weird.
No, that means I put D at something else. That means I put I know attributes because it's 24 was A.
Mhm.
Resources is E.
We were saying human, I think of B.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we chose.
Nah.
B. You were B human.
Be human.
Ooh.
Okay, I think I messed up.
Mm.
Attributes A, skills D,
Mhm.
magic. I think was B, metatype C, resources A.
Okay.
That I messed up because I couldn't go back and look, so I was like,
Gotcha.
doing the new character thing.
Figuring it out though,
Yeah,
takes a minute sometimes.
yeah, and then I still went with adapt.
Uh,
Yeah.
Also, just let people know because the chart there, because I did forget to mention it, what it means is the first number is the number of points you have to spend on individual skills. And then the number in the parentheses is used to purchase skill groups.
Or the number after the slash. I mean,
Yeah.
for skills.
Yeah.
It's not in parentheses. It's after the slash, unless of course you have your sheet.
But then once you purchase skill groups, if you ever want to raise one skill out of that group individually, you break the skill group.
Yes, you can't, because normally you can get the entire group for cheaper for either leveling it up or purchasing it during character creation. Yes. Joe, what skills did you take?
Give me a second.
And money too, technically.
Oh yeah. Money I took an A.
Okay.
I'm the rich bitch.
You are the rich bitch.
Well, being a rigger costs a lot of money.
No, yeah, rigger or a heavily cyber focused character. Yeah, money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have for skill groups, I have a 2 in electronics, 3 in engineering, and still was fiddling a bit, but right now I'm sitting at a 3 in automatics, 2 in heavy weapons, 4 in pistols, 4 in perception, with a focus in searching, 4 in sneaking, 4 in armor.
Okay. Also, keep in mind, just to say it now, during character creation here, highest you can raise a skill is 6, 7 if you have aptitude, and the highest rating you could ever get a skill to is 12 or 13 with aptitude. So, just to let people
also
know.
ever take aptitude
1 in
once.
biotech.
Biotech. All right.
Oh, and sorry, because you had interrupted, I hadn't scrolled all the way down. 2 in locksmith, 3 in gunnery, 4 in pilot aircraft, 4 in pilot groundcraft, and that's it.
Okay. Momo, did you have an idea of what you want to do for your 2 priorities there?
I'm probably gonna go with skill E.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm gonna need money for a cool gun.
Yeah, and you could probably focus on like
Sure.
a couple of really good skills and call it.
Yeah, I have a rough idea of the skills I want to grab.
Also, if you have a lot of attributes, you can kind of you can kind of just put ones in a bunch of stuff and use
Natural
skills,
abilities.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be knowledge and language skills that players get too. I'm going to mention this now. Basically, the 2 of your mental scores, intuition and logic, you add those together, multiply them by 2, and that's how many points you get as a 1-to-1 to have various knowledge skills. You do get 1 free language, that's your native language, but for any other languages you get, you would have to take ranks in it, very similar to any other skill, basically 1 to 6, and eventually after character creation getting up to 12. But knowledge skills are a lot more open-ended. They're like about various topics that you might want to be interested in. There are certain categories and I can kind of like figure out from there, but you could be very exact. Usually you try something like, you might have knowledge in wines for whatever reason, or, new
I have knowledge in
anarchists.
art.
Yeah. See, art knowledge. There you go. And depending on how
I like to make some designs of my stuff.
I'm saying, but depending on how exact you get in your knowledge skill depends on basically difficulty and stuff like that. With Joe's knowledge of art, he's art in general, it does mean that he can roll a wide variety of it, but it means if something's a little bit more specific, it's going to be a higher difficulty than, let's say, Joe specialized in sculpting. Then it'd be more easier for him with sculpting to recognize a sculpture, but you wouldn't roll in anything else. So that's kind of where it is for when you're choosing your knowledge skills and stuff like that. And again, usually you want like 4 in a knowledge to actually be able to like speak it decently. 6 would be you've learned a secondary language. You're probably still not perfect at it, but you're not there. 4, basically, I can make some conversations pretty well. I'm not going to mess up unless it's more difficult topics. Anything above that is getting into secondary language, kind of degrees of stuff.
I will say, the one annoying thing about this sheet is I don't have 2 stat blocks.
That is the only thing that I don't think was on either sheet there. I'm not going to lie.
To be fair, they are... So, I picked them based off the bird, and then they are exactly that for the metahuman, regardless of what they actually are, what the metahuman can actually have. But if I raise one, it doesn't raise... But when I'm for spending experience, you can only raise 1 at a time. You can't raise it for both.
Yeah. So, then we can go into kind of spending money. There are some details about spending money we will discuss here. For one thing, just keep in mind that you can save some money from character creation. Not a lot. At most, you can save 5,000 New Yen. That would be your like starting vast wealth, depending on any of it. Anything else would be lost. So like Joe could only save 5,000 if he's not going to spend it. But being a rigger and probably with a bit of cyberware and a bunch of drones and a bunch of vehicles and maybe some weapons, there's a good chance
I'm probably
he's
going to end up spending
the vast
all my
majority of it.
money.
Yeah.
And lifestyle.
Also,
Don't forget you have to buy a lifestyle.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't forget you have to. I was literally about to mention that. Don't forget you actually have to buy your lifestyle.
Yes.
Basically, and that basically will that will actually determine how much money you get over time.
Yeah. Lifestyle's also like, was it monthly or? I think it's monthly for the price
I think
you're
it's a
paying.
monthly.
Yeah. So basically, you choose to spend a certain amount of money, be living on the street for free, where like a luxury lifestyle would be 100,000 New Yen, and effectively, beyond the 5,000 you hold over, you have a starting New Yen based on your lifestyle, is what it is.
It's basically how much is in your pockets.
Yeah. So you can keep a little bit from your character creation, and whatever lifestyle you get, that you purchase, also gives you some money in your pocket. It could be more than what you spent on it. Like if you spend 5,000 in middle class, no, okay, middle class would not be 5,000 most.
I actually do have a question. What do we want to do for living situations? Because in theory, there are rules for living with people. If we want to like all be like know each other beforehand.
That's completely up to you. Like when we begin the session and the adventure, you are going to have at least worked together on the last mission you did. Whether or not you've worked on a lot of them, whether or not you've, known each other for a long time, up to you guys. But you've at least worked together once, all as a team. Okay?
Yeah.
Whether that was your first time or like your 10th time, completely up to you. That'll be kind of thing that we can kind of work with too in the course of the game too a little bit also. We can discuss these things, but there's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. So yeah, do we want to have connections? So that's a question. It might be good to discuss that. Like,
we can take a little pause here in character creation and have people discuss whether you want to know each other very much. Knowing some of these people might help hide the fact that you are a shifter from the public. Also, I just with your abilities, I don't know that you'd be owning a place to live. I'm not gonna lie, Wyrm.
Well, that's the thing. I can stay as a human for as long as I want.
But you have like you're computer illiterate and uneducated. I think you might have trouble like. I guess you could have found like a nice.
Illiterate doesn't. Okay, so to computer illiterate doesn't mean you can't use computers. It means it takes you a while to do computers, and
I have to.
It's kind of like it's like your grandpa on a computer. They can do it.
Okay, that's fine then. You're like doing the individual like typing in, and it takes you a while.
Yep. Yeah.
Come on, Grandpa, hurry up. No, I'm getting it.
And yeah, anything that requires me to use it within a timely manner gives me a -4.
Mm-hmm. So, check this here. Yeah, but up to you guys if you like what you want to do. Is there an idea of where you'd want to be with that, or connections and stuff like that? Do you want to have known each other?
I'm fine with knowing each other.
I mean, like more than one mission. That is what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So my character's gonna be a sniper. Basically, high... sniper adept.
Yeah. We have 3 adepts and a rigger. Technically, you're more than just adepts, but I do find it funny.
Also, I'm fun fact. Actually, my character can probably work. Okay, is your character going to be like a mechanic?
Yeah.
My character can work at the same garage as you because I actually am putting points into like mechanical skills, just not computer skills.
I'm going to ask a very important question because I just thought of it. Did anybody take any sort of social skill?
I am
No.
going to be taking social stuff.
Thank you. Okay.
I will be
Thank
taking
God.
some. I did pick
Does-
social anxiety.
Look, as long as
I-
someone can roll it, basically.
I think I took.
I plan on taking first impression. I'm just trying to math out all of the points.
Okay.
I think I
Okay,
took.
it's called social.
a
So you're going to
social
be our
skill?
face.
I took
More or less.
intimidation
I wanna-
and negotiation,
Oh,
but those are
I-
low.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's fine. You can roll
Yeah.
it. Having
I'm
some
playing
skill in
to-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking social stress. Just to clarify what that is, it basically means anytime a certain social scenario comes up, I have penalties. And my social scenario is going to be anytime there are birds around, I'm afraid they're going to out me.
Yeah.
So if
You
there are
know,
birds around,
I
penalties to
find that
social
hilarious.
situations.
But the thing is, here's the thing. It makes sense for your character. Oh my god. I hate that it does. I really hate that that works so well. Oh my god.
Just trying to debate on a negative to take.
Anyway, yeah. I this is a character I thought out a little bit more. I had another character, but I'll go with this one. This one was the one I kind of started to fall in love with as I made it.
Some of the other books might have some other like negative and positive qualities and other things like that too.
Yes. There are general in Run Faster. There are under the section. What is it called? Oh yeah. So as you can be, qualities for good or ill. It has more positive and negative qualities.
So, as we'll discuss, characters knowing each other and stuff too. The last thing after you spend all your money and figuring out what your starting money is, your lifestyle, stuff like that, is spend over your leftover karma. The karma you didn't spend towards your positive qualities. This takes two forms. This takes, of course, the form of contacts and statting things up. So for contacts, you can spend the karma you already had left over. Plus, you get an additional amount of karma equal to your charisma rating times 3 for contacts. Each contact has a connection and a loyalty rating. Basically, connection is how good are they at finding out stuff and information. Loyalty is how much they're not going to screw you over. So they're like, if you would have, let's say, spend 5 karma, you could have a combination of 3 and 2 in that, or 4 and 1. You add those two numbers together and figure out that's how much karma you're spending. It's pretty simple that way. And I think that also goes up to 6. So you could be like, if you had 12 karma, you could be like, I have a 6-6 connection. It's a pretty damn good connection somewhere, and we have to work with something that good, but it doesn't mean you couldn't have it. That could be something like, a relative ended up as like a high place in certain corporation. It means they might go out of their way for you, but it also means that you're dealing with whatever that is, and you might have to have repercussions on both of you for anything that you kind of ask about too. There is that give and take.
You cannot have a 6-6 at start. It
Okay,
does
so-
say that it has to be a total of 7
Thank you. I can remember that.
or lower.
Okay, so there is a maximum. But again, it's balancing on how
These,
yeah.
yeah, they can get stronger over time. You can
Or you
spend
can-
experience on them.
you can actually gain more contacts too in the course of the game.
Yeah.
Like if you win over someone over the course of the game, I could give you, hey, you've earned a new contact. Here's their statistics. Congratulations, you added them. That's your interactions with an NPC. And contacts can help you with getting information, getting items, potentially employment, various things like that. And again, that's how many connections they have. And again, that loyalty is how much are they willing to go out of their way to help you. Like a 1 is they know you, but they're not going to go, they're not going to do a lot for you, while like 6 is like you're like, relatives or something like that. They're going to go out of their way, to help you out. So it's how much they're willing to endure without basically shattering that bond. Yeah. So there's those. And again, you can spend some of that extra contact. The other thing is the rest of it can be spent on like character advancement, basically rules. For the rest of your karma that you have left over. And there's some additional kind of equipment that you have to spend karma for, like basically kind of some spells and spirits and stuff. So
And
stuff that you guys don't have to worry about. Well, maybe bound foci. You guys might get a foci. There are some foci that help adepts. But I don't know if any of you have enough money for that.
Probably not. I actually didn't even realize you could get them. Let me double check.
There are a few that do help adepts. Not a lot of them. Most of them you do have to just be a spellcaster. But I do remember there are a few of the more unusual ones that can be used by adepts. Basically, you know, magical foci. But most of the things that you would spend karma on, you're not gonna do as a, you know, non-spellcaster, non-technomancer.
Oh yeah, weapon foci is cool because it basically is just a magic weapon that you can use on spirits.
Yeah. You just get like a magic sword. That's definitely something an adept can have. If you want a +1 sword, you can actually get it. It'd be like a level 1 weapon foci. You could just call it your +1 sword.
Okay, key foci are the adept ones. Okay.
There we go. Okay. There's some final calculations like initiative and stuff like that, and certain checks that you're only using attributes for, but we'll get into those when you kind of need to worry about them. But that's basically the last things you do. And again, there's a nice chart for what costs what for leveling things up in your character, for character advancement. So
okay, so key foci, okay, they're basically just adept powers that you can get above your normal maximum.
Yeah.
Because you're just paying for like tattoos and stuff that have magic in them.
Ooh, mystical tattoos that have stuff in them, of course.
Yeah. Tattoos, ritual scarring, body modifications, piercings. Those are the.
Yeah. So yeah, the starting karma you do have to spend if you have any leftovers on things for your character sheet, which will come us into advancement, which will occur, which we'll talk about here. But basically, it's sort of like.
I think it said you can carry over a little bit of it into just like general experience karma.
I'd have to check how much. 7. You can carry over 7. So
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's something that you want to raise but you don't have enough, you can keep 7 towards raising it. But like attributes, it's you have to spend an amount of karma equal to 5 times the new rating to retrieve it. So if a 3, you have to spend 20 to get to a 4 in an attribute. It's I think 2 times rating for skill, for active skills. Skill groups are rating times 5, and you can also I think it's the main things you'll be buying with bonus karma.
Just tip, if you are going to get a few, if you do plan to spend a bunch of karma, if you want a bunch of skills, it's better to put your points into raising high skills higher and then use karma to purchase like ones and skills, because then rather than spreading out your initial points and purchasing because that's in the end like it's easier because they're 1 for 1 at character creation, but then it's like 20 to 1 afterwards.
Yep. Ooh, and I did miss something that I'm going back to do because I remembered it and I just saw it now. Where is that in here? In the book.
So Joe,
Talk about?
Yes.
my character could work in your character's garage if they have one.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I haven't gotten to spending all my money yet. And figuring out what lifestyle I can afford then. But I plan to have a place.
Oh.
Yep.
I did forget something that I did want to mention is for the purchase during character creation of 1 skill point, or I think it's 7 karma, you can get a specialization in something, which means like a more specific version of something. Like if you're good with, like let's say you're good with blades. The blades is a skill. You could specialize in something like knives or axes. You're better with those on top of that and get bonus dice when using that specific item. Again, it would cost you 1 skill point separately for when you're spending your skill points, or 7 karma for the calculations there too. You can just purchase specialization.
And specialization adds 2 dice to the skill.
So
roll.
it can be pretty helpful that way to have one. Yeah. I think that's everything. So yes, if you purchase a new skill, it would cost you 2 karma points to get like a level 1 at something. So if you do have that, as Warren was saying, it might be easier to, when you're spending your higher points, throw those into, with your skill points and use your karma to purchase a couple small level 1 things, there too. But I think that's about it for character creation. I mean, the only other thing is, karma, like we just talked about now that you're spending at the end of the game, at the end of character creation, that's your experience points. You'll gain karma over the course of sessions that then you can spend to level up your character.
So, Jessie and Momo, do you guys want to have any connections or like personal connections? I think it's fun to do this. So.
Trying to think of how it could work, because the character concept I've come up with is just a really broke, like, street boxer
Hobo
who just lives like between fight to fight in his shitty apartment.
Amazing.
I definitely could have seen that Joe and Wyrm's character have been working together for some time. Basically, Joe might know Wyrm's secret. I don't know if the other characters might have an idea about something, but might not know for sure that he's a shifter.
Yeah.
But Joe's
we're
been
both
like,
outcasts.
yeah, and you basically, yeah,
True.
because Joe's a little unusual in this area of the world. He's the only of, probably other than his parents, might be the only of his version of a dwarf that's in Seattle, unless there's people on vacation. So the two of you have been kind of like living together, and maybe like more recently or a little while ago, they like found you and basically needed muscle for a job, and you were basically available, kind of thing like that. We could definitely say that that's there, that they could have gotten you on as like a much more physical muscle kind of guy, because they needed that definitely.
I can see that working.
Yeah.
We occasionally hire you for odd lifting jobs.
Fair. I mean, my guy's
suppose.
like desperate enough that he'll do pretty much anything for money.
Hey, I'm getting the shipment in. Can you help me move it?
Well, it's sort of like that's the day job, of course, too. It's really, you earn most of your money by going out and getting some real jobs.
I have a shipment coming in to fix my drones. What are you talking about, man?
The drone hip is fixing shipment. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fine.
So then we can see.
Momo, do you have an idea for your character?
I'm working in my brain about it, but I don't know if
Okay.
I would necessarily know like all of you that super well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like our relationship to Jesse's character would be tentative. It's just more like we know him.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that guy. I think I see him in the alleyway every once in a
That
while.
hobo.
It could have been as easy as like.
He's eating out of my trash cans, man.
It could have been as easy as, for the three of you, the two of you go on like runs together a lot more often, and like there's been a couple of jobs where you're like, hey, we need an extra person that has some muscle, that your two skill sets don't handle,
Yeah.
something a little bit more complex that you've gotten on for that. I mean,
What I'm saying is like if you see a whole hot dog in a dumpster, you're not gonna let that hot dog go to waste. Is all I'm saying.
it is. But just keep in mind, it's probably a soy-based hot dog, because I'm not going to lie, real meat is really expensive.
No.
Yes. As much as a lot of people died and the population hasn't come back, like, it was like a third to 2/3 of the global population has gone away since the beginning of the Sixth World. But, this entire thing of magic coming back and reawakening all the lands, and like a lot of horrific monstrosities coming out that are magically based, and like, horrific environmental disasters, it does mean like it hasn't helped.
Yeah, it was kind of glossed over in the world overview, but North America did have every volcano erupt at the same time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That was how the Native American people got their freedom from the entire internment camp thing.
Well, there was
And
also
their
the
own nations.
nuke that disappeared that still hasn't come back. So
Yeah. I don't think they figured out what happened to that in
Also-
6th edition. The nuke that went away.
Also, when you're Also, when your cows can literally like awaken and become human intelligent, it puts a whole new meaning to.
Yeah, I guess there would be some ethics issues, but I find it upsetting that my guy can't get a good old Oscar Mayer off the street anymore.
I mean, you could, but you have to go to those. You have to sneak into those high-end places. You have to break into the corporate
getting in
sector.
I'm not getting in there.
Look, it's fine.
I mean, you might be able to get some lab-grown meat as like a high-end thing for the middle class.
Yeah.
I'm not even middle class.
The nuke will show. The
Well,
nuke will come back
I'm
and
saying
fix
by
everything.
digging through the middle class's trash, you can get.
That
it.
is true. I could like just hide out near someone's house and dig through the garbage.
I guess
The
it's
thing is, if you spend at least 500 million on your lifestyle, you can be a squatter.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking either squatter or low.
Lowe's probably a little better, but like that's not.
You have a
I mean-
permanent roof over your head.
Yeah, it's better than street.
True. Well, yeah, 'cause I'm
Squatter,
actually homeless.
The squatter, you might have to worry about like accidentally squatting in a place that has ghouls. So yeah.
Yeah.
Ghouls are a thing too. It's a disease. It makes you crave the flesh of other humanoids, other metatypes. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have enough left over to do at least middle.
It's a thing. Also, important other notes like the missile. There was a dragon president for a couple of days before he was assassinated.
All right. Time for my favorite fact about this guy. He is the tallest, longest, and heaviest president in U.S. history. And also, he is quoted as never being taller than Lincoln because he respects Lincoln.
He straight changed to a human form, and when he did, he always made sure to be
Human form is always shorter than Lincoln because he respects Lincoln.
With or without the hat on?
But is he fatter than Taft?
I mean, when he's in dragon form, yes.
He also hosted a talk show called Wyrm Talk.
He did.
Naturally.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
He was also the dragon that showed up and told everybody what was going on. He basically had an interview on the news. It was like, "Hi, magic's back."
Yeah, this is Durdunkelston or whatever his name is.
Yeah. A lot of weird shit that's going on nowadays is all to do with him because he had this will that gave out massive tons of weird magical artifacts that he had. They are floating around and stuff is happening.
Yeah,
So
he got like mega assassinated to power an artifact that did something I don't remember.
it wasn't good. It was basically mystical, magical black hole that has left a scar in front of a...
Didn't he? Yeah, I think he got assassinated at the Watergate Hotel.
He did get assassinated at the Watergate Hotel, and there's like a weird, horrific void in front of Watergate now that people have to like keep away from. They basically cordoned it off so you can still use the hotel. It's like, please avoid the horrific, weird black hole thing that's left over of our dragon president. Also,
it should be noted, air travel is restricted in a lot of places because sometimes dragons just hit airplanes for fun.
Yeah. Let me note, the majority of dragons are not dragon president intelligent. Most of them are a little bit more like, slightly above
The
bestial.
majority of dragons do
Well, like
not
animals?
respect Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Those
Majority,
rat bastards.
yeah. Majority are like lesser worms, lesser dragons, which aren't that smart. But then you have a whole greater dragons.
They also, if I recall correctly, they also get smarter as they get older, and they're basically stupid for the first like 100 years of their life.
Yeah.
No.
Also, if you want to know about dragons, one of them controls one of the megacorps. So, yeah.
Yes.
He basically bought the entire thing out with a giant, was it like table-sized piece of gold? Something like that. He just showed up, dropped an entire table, like a literal like giant like table of gold, and was like, "I own the company now," and he's been in charge of it since then. So if you ever want to do anything with Satyr Krupp, there's a dragon in charge of that one. Also, like there's the, let's see, other megacorps to know about Aztechnology. They are the Aztecs. It is actually the government
basically.
of Mexico is a mega corporation, and they have gone full, we are returning to the Aztec ways in a lot of ways. Like,
Do they do ritualistic sacrifices?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this
I
is
was
where
wondering.
the like a little offensive portion of 80s writing came in.
Yeah. They might be better now, but they're also not nice because they're a megacorp that controls an entire country. So that part's not good, you know? They're one of the major global superpowers, and they control an entire country. They invaded large
Also,
portions of South
the
America.
World Bank is also in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
We just say these things, and it is really. Also,
It's
If
still
I
weird. Look,
recall,
it's
there
an
is
absurd
there is
setting.
a Mars colony.
there was
Yeah,
couple
I
of
don't think it
times.
exists anymore.
It may be haunted
Oh.
by horrific spirits from
Oh.
beyond the veil.
Maybe it's the moon colony that still exists. Then I'm thinking
That
about.
one's still fine. Mars, there's weird stuff over there that has to do with like spirits and stuff. Don't ask. Insect spirits, I mentioned them. They took over Chicago. Chicago's only
Yeah.
finally getting better. Insect spirits are a type of spirit that infest your body and basically take over you. And then you become like a puppeted dead zombie of a spirit.
Maybe in 7th edition we'll figure out what happened to that ICBM.
I really hope so. It's funny because it exists.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's better than I don't know. I feel like the insect spirits are better than the radiation spirits.
It might be. I forgot they're radiation spirits. Those are pretty awful. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie. Horrors are probably a thing. We're probably not gonna have to worry about that for like 300 years at least, but they're probably a thing. Unless someone really stupid goes really deep into magic and draws one out into the astral plane, which I'm not putting it against a storyline dealing with that.
No one would ever do that.
Basically, a good story for that is during one of the previous like fourth worlds, the basically horrific beings from beyond the veil of magic came and tried to like eliminate everybody, and it was very, very bad. Anyway, go check out Earth Dawn. That's technically a prequel to this. Technically.
Okay.
So they're owned by
So
different companies now. They used to be owned by the same
I
company.
have all of my. Okay, I figured out how much karma I have left.
Cool.
I'm finally done. with
Okay,
that.
sorry. Radiation spirit. They're not radiation spirits. They're toxic spirits, which are more about general, pollution and stuff.
We did create pollution spirits. Yep. There is technically sentient AI and free spirits also that exist in our world too. So keep an eye on those two also. The AI have a lot of stats
Radiation
like
spirits are a type of toxic spirit. They're just the rarest.
and the most awful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. A lot of like natural disasters, a lot of pollution, a lot of horrific amounts of radiation.
There's a lot of radiation spirits in at the Chernobyl site.
I think
I bet.
I think Australia, the middle of Australia, is just like a magic storm constantly in the outback. I believe. So it's just like you just don't want to go. Australia got worse. I don't know how it happened,
Yeah,
but
I
it
mean,
did.
Makes sense to me.
I think there's also like some kind of like literally the drop bear is a real thing in Shadowrun.
Yes,
and,
it is.
And there's also like a magical awakened platypus or something. Look, I love Shadowrun, but there's also a lot of weird shit. Anyway, I think we've gone over most everything, and we have the basics of people's characters and some of the relationships. Honestly speaking, we can kind of say for now, Momo, that at least you would have worked with them the last couple of
Yeah,
missions.
I feel like maybe not like the closest of friends, but we have worked together a couple times.
It probably could have been
Yeah.
that like someone brought you in because they knew you and wanted to hire you on as part of this
Oh,
group.
Yeah, you needed someone to talk to people, but also do cool magic stuff.
So, just to give a finality kind of thing here, as we've kind of gone through character creation, where we're going to be setting up is you're going to be in your home city of Seattle. You would have been working together. You were going to start kind of at the tail end of a mission as you're finishing it up, where we're going to basically be hired on by someone that has you travel with them outside of the UCAS. You're going to be going somewhere in the world where you're being hired on for this kind of dual role. One thing, you're going to be bodyguards. I'm going to give you a summary of without getting too many details. You're being hired on to help acquire something that is kind of in a not quite illegal spot, but kind of like a shady area. So it's one of those things of like, you're going somewhere, it's going to be a little shady. They need some bodyguards with them. But if things go south, you're also there to possibly acquire things not in the, in quotations, official channels that you're trying to go through first. So that's the twofold part of what job you're going in for. And basically, we'll have you have your encounters with these interesting people at the beginning of the session. So yeah, a little bit of global travel there. But you'll be back home in time for, I don't know, not dinner, because it does take a little bit of travel time, you know. You'll be back eventually, maybe like a week or two. Back to good old Seattle. But we will have a little bit of Seattling before you leave, though, too. Because, of course, we're starting there in the aftermath of the mission. So we'll kind of leave it there. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to ask about this here, or I think we've kind of hit up all the main things and done a lot of the character stuff, introduced the world, kind of gone through the mechanics, basically. We will discuss things like initiative and combat in times where we kind of come up. Basically, I'll give some more summaries of some basic setup of how things work a little bit when we're getting into these things. Because in any good run, you don't want to have combat, but you're ready for combat. The object of a runner is not to get to a fight. But if you do, you're ready. Basically, that's kind of what it is. You've done your job when you don't have to shoot someone. You're ready for it. That's technically why you get a muscle, because just in case things go south from the current plans, you got someone to beat up those that you need to. Also, you know, I'm not gonna lie, but Jessie, your character would be really great for a bodyguard. You know, it's like, this is my large bodyguard, you know, as I'm here to negotiate with you.
I don't like how that guy's looking at me. Send in the hobo.
Also,
Send in the feral homeless man.
Also, I will find it amusing if we enter an area of very low magic, because in theory I could just turn back into a bird.
Oh
Wait,
God.
is that a thing that can happen? You could just be forced back into bird form?
Yeah, it's like has to be areas of like really low magic, because technically it is magic.
No,
Yeah.
let's pray that doesn't happen then.
It's the kind of thing that, like, it isn't normal. Most areas are just a regular magic, but there are certain areas that have very low magic or very high magic,
Yeah.
which can have,
Like dead zones.
yeah. Kind of like as I talked about the big magical storm in Australia. If you go there, beyond the storm, there is a lot of magic in the area. There's also, like, ley lines and stuff like that. It's kind of why, like, Stonehenge became magical, and a whole bunch of places in, like, Britain became magical, because, like, turns out those druids actually did know something about ley lines. That it really was magical. Also, there may have been an actual Atlantis, because, you know, it's the magical Shadowrun world.
Okay, well, Atlantis canonically existed. It sank, and that's why the age of mundanity occurred.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff about that.
Also, like, every nuclear reactor on the planet basically melted down at this point, at least once.
Yeah, I mean when there are like active radiation spirits that are basically being bred in reactors that then like are like, I want to make this more of a thing.
There was a good, well, I mean, like, you know, on one day, like, 20 apocalyptic events happened all at the same time, so...
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff. Again, it's the entire magic coming back. There's also things like, it's not video, it's Tridio, which is like,
Yeah.
also like you have to worry about people not only being addicted to physical drugs, but there's also BTLs, which are better than life, like chips that you can hook into what you're doing to fill your senses while you're in VR and stuff like that, as a kind of super drug of like pleasure and stuff like that. Those things exist. They're an addiction beyond the normal ones, but there's also probably some super drugs in there too beyond, you know, your normal ones that we have today. Anyway, it's a little dystopian. Technically speaking, by the year 2080, it's better-ish. Not there yet. It's probably way off, and especially because megacorps aren't going away. But you're better than you were in the 2040s.
As someone who knows a lot about BattleTech, you can tell that the BattleTech guys made this setting.
They did. It was this, Earth Dawn, and BattleTech that they made. They did a bunch of these. This is early FASA. And then I find it interesting that Catalyst got 2 of those, because the successor to FASA has Earth Dawn still, which is technically a thing, but like BattleTech and Shadowrun ended up at Catalyst, so it's
And
kind of
both
interesting.
are semi-dead IPs.
They're still being produced, just they aren't. I'm not gonna lie, both have never been the biggest IPs, you know. So I still like them. It was this and Shadowrun and Cyberpunk were the 2 that came out kind of around each other a little bit, and were both very interesting takes on the cyberpunk genre. One of them was a pure cyberpunk, the other was a cyber fantasy. You know,
Perhaps
so.
the one that was more popular became popular because it was less weird.
And had a really nice video game. Shadowrun has
Well-
never had a good video game.
Well, Shadowrun has like 4 good video
no,
games.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
no,
say
like
that.
them.
Oh, wait,
There
I'm
was,
sorry.
um,
I
I
did
love a lot of the
I
Shadowrun.
did forget Shadowrun Hong Kong was a pretty good video game. I don't think it was a.
Also,
I mean, like,
I would argue that Cyberpunk got an okay video game.
Shadowrun had a like a shooter game for the Xbox 360 that I loved.
Shadowrun
playing.
actually has a lot of video games.
there's a lot of video games, but what I mean by that one is it's not a very good Shadowrun video game. It was a pretty good shooter. There hasn't been a good Shadowrun game that has been super popular, I think is the best way to say it.
That's
yeah.
fair.
As much as
like,
the games are
been
quite
cult
niche
classics.
still.
yeah, there's some cult classics, but things like, you know, we have Baldur's Gate 3 for D&D, you know, Cyberpunk, as much as it's had some issues, tends to be pretty out there in people's zeitgeist, you know, and it's gotten the game out there too. So it's like those, like, I can point to is like, hey, they've and even I think Pathfinder's doing decent. Like, I think that the Kingmaker and Wrath of Righteous did pretty decent. They weren't up there
Those were
with those.
Those are for 1E. We do have an Abomination Vault game coming out somewhat soon.
That's true.
I
That
think,
one,
like,
I'm excited for that one.
yeah, Pathfinder's doing a better job of getting in there. I would like some more Shadowrun, and as much as I technically didn't like it, I did play the BattleTech game a little bit, but I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah, that one's a weird one.
it's just way too much.
You kind of have to put a few mods in to make it like really good.
So much management. I got turned off by the goddamn mass amount of management. It was just like,
Yeah, it's also like god facing, which is painful.
it was just one of those things. Is like, if you given me one mech to manage and like had the rest of them just be kind of NPCs, I would have been so much happier. Like, I would have taken one, my own custom mech, and like the rest of them just be a thing. I don't want to run a mercenary company after deal with all of them. It was just too
Yeah,
much.
I mean, the game you would want to play is the Mech Warrior games.
Yeah. Anyway, also there was technically Shadowrun games on both the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis.
There was, they weren't good,
Though they weren't. They
like
were.
most games from that time.
I liked the Sega Genesis one, but it wasn't good. The story was kind of interesting. That's the best thing I can say about it. Anyway, there we go. It's a good spot to kind of leave off. I'll turn this map off here to leave off today's session. Here, this little session 0, where we kind of got an idea of where we're starting, characters kind of established, kind of knowing how you guys know each other. Kind of getting everything kind of set up for the main game, so we can kind of dive into the action and the kind of back end of your mission as you're finishing up one and getting a new big opportunity afterwards. So we'll see how all that goes. Anyway, all right. Thank you to my 4 players. I guess if we want to throw some shout outs, if anybody wants to give any there, I will start with to the side of Wyrm, because I know Wyrm has a shout out. Jessie, do you have anything to say?
Nah.
Joe, do you have anything to say?
Nah.
Momo, you got anything to say?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't exist online anymore.
Wyrm.
Yeah, I'm Diamond Worm. You can find me on twitch.tv/Diamond Worm or at Diamond Worm on Twitter and Blue Sky, and also YouTube.
Cool.
My next stream will be Friday.
Awesome. Hi, Tantanariv and Dracovin, the GM here. I hope you've enjoyed the game. Please make sure to check out the rest of my stuff and the rest of this when it comes out. We'll be uploading all these to YouTube. If you're catching it there, you can always catch us live Wednesdays at 8. That's when we stream and record this there. Please make sure to check out any of the older games that I've had. They're all pretty good and fun. Mixed bag of decency, I'll say that one, but they're all interesting adventures. Make sure to check out all the other stuff I have on either of those places. I'll be back tomorrow for my schedule if you want to see me live. My social media is linked below, and I think that's the major amount of shoutouts I need. Well, I'm probably forgetting some, but I always do. Anyway, all right, everybody, have a good one. Hopefully see you next week for session 1. All right, bye.